It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I have all my fruits and vegetables to hand out tomorrow night for healthy food for Halloween.
You know what else are healthy? Eggs.
Lots of protein.
Yeah.
When thrown at my garage.
That's right. Raw eggs. I remember Rocky. Remember that? Raw egg is good for you. I think the trick-or-treaters will tell you that. When you give them fruit and vegetables, they'll return that healthy favor in a big way with protein. See, they even know your diet.
Was
Gary.
it the New York Times that said that? Or
what?
Who?
Oh, it was ABC.
It was
News.
ABC?
Some are suggesting. I know, yeah. I always love that. Who are the some? That with SNAP benefits possibly ending, that you should consider handing out non-perishable items to the trick-or-treaters. In other words, give them groceries they can take home to their parents. While a noble idea, it's also a very unwise idea. Don't give a 6-year-old a can of lentils. That's not going to work for you unless you like watching a 6-year-old cry. Don't give an 11-year-old a can of spinach. They still make canned spinach? And if so, why? Because that 11-year-old...
Get Popeye
on
the lines. He would know.
Yeah. And that 11-year-old knows what aisle the eggs are in at the grocery store. Yeah.
Such stupidity. See, this is why you're not going to see stories like that on CBS from now on.
Now, I'll say that exactly, right? This is what I'll say. I'll tell the folks over at ABC News, no, perishable items. Give them ice cream. See, that way they have to go home right away. Look, you better give them a gallon of ice cream. Take it home to mom and dad right away. Of course, you also could see then a 6-year-old eating a gallon of ice cream on your front lawn. But I think I'm well armed for Friday night. I bought the most candy I've ever purchased in 1 week, ever. And that's a big deal for me.
Yeah, I have a ton of candy, too.
Yeah. And
my neighborhood gets busy, though, especially when Halloween falls on a weekend. It just...
On a weekend,
night?
On a weekend, we get mobbed.
Yeah.
And it's because we get... And this is a new thing, too, that I've noticed. Well, it's not new. I kind of did it with my kids a couple of times, where you put them in the car and drive them around. It's like, look, we can make more stops if we do this. You're going to get a lot more candy if you do this. And I'm noticing that more and more. To me, that's a bit sketchy because you got so many cars, and so many kids still crossing the street. So you got to really be careful if you're going to do that. But we get a lot of people. We get a ton of kids on a Friday night. It's going to be crazy. And the weather's going to be good. The weather's going to be very good. So we'll be busy. And I'll get rid of all that candy.
Where did I see? I think it was the College Fix that had that story yesterday that Trump 2.0 is making it where you can now have Halloween parties on college campuses.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Right.
That was just great. I just loved it. It goes, Trump 2.0 is now making it where colleges are now not worrying about being politically correct
right.
anymore. That, hey, if you want to have a Halloween party, then that's okay.
Yeah, go have some fun.
Right. And I always thought it was unfair, because one of the first, remember, when they really first started going politically correct, the thing that I went out with as a kid so much, Halloween, was a hobo.
Right. Oh, no. Unhoused. Well, I'd say
But
this.
there was nothing wrong with it because it was the term hobo were people that jumped on trains to find work.
Well, or find other trains. Yeah.
Or find other trains, but it's
They had a home, it was a boxcar. They didn't own it.
Well, for me, it always reminded me of the movie of Mice and Men.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of it. People going from town to town trying to find work. For me as a kid, I didn't view that as an insult. And for me, it was real easy because all you needed to do was throw on some old clothes, get a stick, pull a little bag. And for me as a kid, that little bag on the back that contained all your belongings, I thought was the coolest thing. I always wondered how they packed everything in there.
I have a friend of mine who travels a lot for work, and his bag is tiny. He might be able to fit it on a stick. Oh, by the way, a little piece of trivia. There was a heavy rock band whose original version of their biggest hit song had the word hobo in it. Whitesnake. Here I Go Again. Instead of like a drifter, I was born to walk alone, the original line was, like a hobo, I was born to walk alone. Which sounds weird when you listen to the original version. It sounds really, because nobody uses that word anymore. Drifter's a much cooler word. Because remember in the 70s, being a drifter, you could also be the Incredible Hulk. Remember? He was a drifter. Remember? Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So don't mess with drifters. You wouldn't like them when they're angry.
So as you think about it, the modern day drifter, hobo, is Reacher.
Yeah. No, he's a total drifter. Yeah.
Reacher.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with Reacher.
Right.
He gets it now. He's a little bit different from the original drifter, quote, hobo, because he gets deposited his pension.
Yeah, he pays for things.
Right. He's decided that, hey,
he shops in a thrift store for his clothes, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He washes his T-shirt in the sink, but that's fine.
Right. Exactly. But he jumps trains.
Right.
He does, hitchhikes, whatever.
Buy a bus ticket, He'll get on a bus.
I think the left demonized a very
respectful.
I was going to say romantic lifestyle.
Yeah, romantic.
Romanticized.
That's a big word.
Romanticized lifestyle,
Yeah,
not romantic.
Right. Yeah.
Not
okay.
romantic.
Okay.
Well,
romanticized.
no.
Yeah.
Reacher seems to be doing okay.
Well, I guess. I don't know which drifter gym he belongs to, but he apparently does. I don't know what drifter nutritional store he goes to.
And then as I got a little bit older, I thought they were very unfair because I remember the Alf episode where Alf became a hobo. And I think they used the term in that episode back in the 80s.
Yeah, right.
And he jumped on a train.
Right.
And Willie had to go and get him.
Yeah.
It wasn't the episode where he said, though, hey, Willie, friends with presents are the best friends of all. I don't know why that's my favorite all-time Alf
Was that
line.
a Christmas episode or a birthday episode? Or?
I think it was a birthday episode,
All
yes, Alf's birthday or something.
All right.
He was like 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
And still in all that time had not learned, hey, you're pretty irritable to be around.
Yeah, exactly.
You really tick off people. But I guess that's how old they were on Melmac. My God, the fact that I remember the planet
Yeah, I totally
bothers
didn't
me.
remember that.
It just popped into my head. I went,
Right.
I thought he was from Melmac, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, I will tell you this about putting the clocks back. Last week when we were on vacation, I got up a few mornings, really early in the morning. I love riding the bike early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was really strange because, on vacation you would think, maybe I'm still single and everything else. And, maybe I have a rambling time and being out late.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
God, I was asleep by 8, 9 o'clock and up at 4.
Wow.
And on the bike by 4:30 doing, 15 miles. And there I was riding the bike. I've got this this headlight I have with the lithium-ion battery.
Mm-hmm.
And then the backlight looks like it's a emergency vehicle. I look like a first responder. And so there's nobody on the road. It's great. All of a sudden, I'm like, what the hell's going on at that corner there? Look at all those people. What's going on? It's a couple of cars. I actually got a little frightened. It's like, oh, no. I'm not armed. What's going on here? And it's kids getting ready. They're all standing at the corner waiting for the bus. There is no light in the east.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even see, I didn't see any. I was like, it's completely, totally pitch dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 10 to 6. They were out there waiting for the school bus.
Yeah, no street light, huh?
No, not at this corner. No, there wasn't a street light there. No, it was dark. My headlight picked up on them. There were a couple of cars, and I'm like, that's why I saw. And it was the parents sitting there, waiting for the bus to come.
Mm-hmm.
But there were probably, I don't know, 8, 9 kids sitting out there. And I couldn't tell as I was coming up. I was just like, why is there all these people?
I live in a school zone, and a couple of weeks ago, it may have been also during our vacation, I went out and ran some errands, and then as I was coming back home, I noticed there was a car ahead of me with its emergency flashers on, and it seemed to be escorting this young boy who was riding a bicycle on to school on the sidewalk. And so just riding along next to him until he got to the crossing guard, which was kind of cool. I don't know if that car even belonged to that young man. I assumed it did. That it was his mom or dad driving that car. But I see kids on bikes riding to school every morning. I mean, it's every morning in my neighborhood because I'm 5 houses down from the elementary. I have one grandchild at that elementary, and 3 of my 4 went to that school.
Yeah, I'm right around the block from our elementary school, and when it gets to be near an hour before pickup time, it looks like the beginning of a NASCAR race.
Oh yeah, no, it's
because they're all lined.
I go the other direction.
They're all lined three across.
Yeah,
and it goes all the way. It probably goes 1,000 feet. There has to be 100 cars there, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't ever remember getting driven to or picked up from elementary school.
I did in San Antonio.
Yeah,
my first grade, I was at an elementary that was right next to the house, but they built a brand new elementary that was up on the hill, and my mom had to drive us, and we walked home. But we walked with other students, or we rode our bikes. But about half of the time, Mom took us.
Yeah, we never. Yeah. There was, that's when my father went to work every day, and then he got into carpool. So my mom had the car once in a while, but still, I don't ever remember being driven to school ever. And I had to walk. The junior high school was a mile away, and we walked. And, and I hate to say this, but when I was young.
Uphill both ways.
Horse
and buggy.
With 50-foot snowdrifts.
Right, exactly. In July. Yeah.
And we liked it that way.
That's right. Now, nobody mentions you were late every day. But yeah. Yeah, we would walk at certain times or ride our bikes. But I don't know. I don't know if it was half the time, but a lot of times Mom would take us. I'm assuming that had to do with weather. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was.
But I do remember hearing a lot because my mom loved Ray Price. The song For the Good Times, which is the saddest song on earth ever. And to start your day as a second or third grader with that, and it's a really depressing song. I love it. Love Ray Price. Met him a few times. Huge fan.
Wait a minute.
That's not a good way to start the day.
You just kicked off a memory.
What's that?
I do remember getting a ride one time. It's amazing the things that stick in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and because you mentioned an artist and a song, I remember one time getting a ride to junior high when it was raining out.
Hitchhiker? You hitchhiked and they picked you up?
I don't know if it was my parents or my buddy who I was going to school with.
Yeah.
His parents drove. And you know how I remember it? Because I believe the artist was Paul Marriott the instrumental Love is Blue. You remember the tune?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I can still remember that was on there. Isn't that amazing? Because that goes back over 60 years, and that sits in my memory, and I completely forgot the time I was driven to school, and one song you remember 60 years later.
Yeah. Well, with my mom, it was either Ray Price, that song, or Charlie Rich, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which is another sad song.
Oh, God.
It's like, my gosh. Mom, God. Come on. Do you have some early Sabbath or something?
I played that on the radio. That was almost worse than when I had to play Michael Johnson, Bluer Than Blue.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved Charlie Rich. Let's just not do that at 7 a.m. I don't want to be crying in front of my teacher.
Hey.
Yeah.
Did you? Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. That's a Seinfeld episode.
What's that?
George Costanza was saying, hey.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see? Remember that?
Yeah.
And Jerry and Elaine looking like, George, stop it. 866-90 Red Eye.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
It's a common road rumor that it's impossible for one-truck owner-operators and even carriers with just 2 or 3 trucks to get freight direct from the source, the shipper. Yet, hard-won experience from untold numbers of owner-operators with authority disproves the notion. Search your home base area and, later, frequent freight destinations to find all the manufacturers, distributors, and other shippers in the area. Once you get that list, ask yourself if those companies know who you are and what you do. If not, you're leaving opportunities on the table. Strive to own your backyard, to build a solid foundation for the business. For many a small fleet, it's the loads outbound from home that are the bread and butter. But you can take that same approach to the destination area, identifying shippers there and getting on the phone to make sure they know who you are and what you do. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more detail on this and many other topics.
Brought to you by Shell Rotella, with advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90 Red Eye on Red Eye Radio.
He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. More shutdown audio. Senator John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, yesterday talking about Democrats and the shutdown.
And we've tried to do that 13 times. And you voted no 13 times. This isn't a political game. These are real people's lives that we're talking about. And you all have just figured out, 29 days in, that, there might be some consequences. There are people who run out of money. Yeah, we're 29 days in. And they've done their best to make sure that a lot of these programs are funded. But at some point, the government runs out of money. 13 times people over here voted to fund SNAP. 13 times they voted to fund WIC.
There you go.
Yeah, where's that going to go this week?
And he normally doesn't yell.
Tell your friends. We're here nightly. Eric Harley and Gary McNamara on Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when and where you choose. You just mentioned, because it's something that we didn't talk about here in the last couple of days, and we have to at least mention it. The interview that Karine Jean-Pierre did with the New Yorker, which has just had everybody going crazy. Like, what in the how can she process any kind of thoughts at all? and I'm reading here because you had just mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
And during the bottom of the hour, and I went, oh, that's right, we didn't talk about it yet. And I'm reading here from the National Review. The amazing reaction to Karine Jean-Pierre's incoherence. There's been a lot of well-deserved gawking at former Biden White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre's disastrous and completely incoherent interview with the New Yorker. Reading the interview is like watching a DUI car crash in slow motion, except that the driver somehow thinks she's a talented and capable behind the wheel as Mario Andretti. Is Jean-Pierre arguing that Joe Biden was pushed out of the race by Democratic leaders because Democrats are mean and disloyal and were keen to ignore black women and the LGBTQ community? She said that.
Yes.
Well, why do you think the Democratic Party was and they did get this part, the generalized part. She's furious at the Democratic Party because she believes Biden was fine and they didn't. And so, was that what it was about, or was it about the fact that they went after Biden because she's the spokesperson and is black and LGBTQ? Somebody brought that up. I forgot who brought it up. Maybe it was on CNN. Someone brought it up and said, you notice how in almost every single thing she talks about how she's black and LGBTQ.
Yeah.
And you never hear that from Richard Grenell, do you?
No, you don't.
You don't hear that from the gay members of Trump's cabinet, do you?
Scott Bessent? Nope.
Never brought up that they're gay.
Right.
Never brought, not even an issue.
Right.
That was brought up. How come she never stops talking about that?
Yeah.
But the fact is, she's accusing the Democrats of being racist.
Yes.
And homophobic.
Yes.
But it's like, so here it is. Is Jean-Pierre arguing that Joe Biden was pushed out of the race by Democratic leaders because Democrats are mean and disloyal and were keen to ignore black women and the LGBT community? With a big question mark there. Or did the great and wonderful and prepared Kamala Harris not get Democrats' full support because Harris was black and female? Or is it that, in Jean-Pierre's words, I never really believe Harris could win? Is it not more plausible that Democratic leaders were concerned about Biden and later Harris because precisely they thought there was a good chance that either of them would lose to Donald Trump in the November 2024 elections? It is, and I mean this in the most generous way possible, it's very difficult to say what in the hell Jean-Pierre is arguing. I think that it's probably because Jean-Pierre doesn't even know what she's arguing. She cannot express clearly what she can't think through clearly. And that's fine. Not everyone is cut out to be a professional communicator.
Well, but when your job is to be a professional communicator,
oh my God,
for the president of the United States at the time,
and that's the next point that Mark Antonio Wright makes in this article in National Review. But it's just,
I love it,
absolutely hilarious because it's completely and totally incoherent. You're like, I don't even know what she's saying.
Right.
Oh my gosh, funny. And some of these interviews she's done, even on MSNBC and CNN, have been disastrous. But you just brought that up, so we had to mention it. We talked yesterday about two different stories. One was Bill Gates coming out and saying, okay, climate change is not a doomsday scenario, which was huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
And reading this headline of this one article, The Coming Civil War of Climate Hysterics. And they were also talking about it on CNN yesterday. And then we also brought up the Michael Schellenberger, who has had his comment and video that he put out saying, we now know that the world's top leading scientists all lied about ocean levels. They lied.
They did. Yep.
They had no evidence at all. They simply lied.
Yep.
And you look at the Democratic Party across the board right now, and I add this one onto it, that I think that, and I agree, I didn't used to agree with Dad when I was a teenager, but when Dad said, look, Gary, you're going to find out people love to be BS'd. And you remember the whole Obama thing. That was people just wanting, please BS me more. Please feed me more crap. You see it with Mamdani. But when you look at the Democratic Party overall, the majority of America isn't buying it anymore. That's why the one poll thinks that 70% of Americans think they're way too radical because they're nuts on the issues.
Yep.
But one of the reasons people say it is because the lies have been so obvious.
Yeah.
When lies continue year after year, a politician can get away with lying for a significant period of time. But when it becomes, and this is what we talked about in the Biden administration, when it becomes so self-evident, when it's obvious, and that's where you get to gaslighting, that everyone knows what the truth is, when people figure out that you're lying, that we know you're lying, the press knows you're lying, you know you're lying, and you continue to lie, and so you gaslight and tell people that something that is absolutely self-evident is not true, there's eventually going to be a pushback to it.
Yep.
And on climate change, for example, we said over and over again, year after year, decade after decade, all of these doomsday scenarios, and how many came true? 0.
Yep.
People start questioning it.
Well, and you know, we are in that era, and I mentioned it yesterday with Elon Musk saying you are the media, and we were talking about legacy media and everything else. But really, you are the media also in finding in being the truth finder, the Glenn Kessler. You know, if you're going to be the fact checker, you're going to, you know, if people, I think at some point made a decision with technology. Look, I don't need anybody doing fact checking. Well, we fact check the blah 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 blah. You know, CNN or Glenn Kessler at the Washington Post or whoever it is. Well, wait a minute, I don't need that. I can do that myself. I want to find the facts myself. And what that means is fewer people get away with lying. And there are two responses to people that are lying. In terms of anybody that's, if you're in the media or if you're on, let's just say you're in office and you're lying about something, two responses. People do their own fact checking and say, all right, they're lying, and then they call you out on it, or they just ignore you and turn away. And they discount you as somebody who is dishonest and not useful. And I think we're seeing a combination of those responses more and more these days.
I think because of social media, you've got some people that say because everybody can say whatever they want, you get a lot of lies. You also get a lot of truth.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth cannot be controlled or censored anymore like it has been until recently, even on social media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I believe that cycle has ended. And once you open up in a country like the United States where we have the First Amendment and you have the ability, and we've talked about the media now, we've talked about CBS, we've talked about NBC and CNN and MSNBC, and the fact that they're all questioning, you know, how long can we continue to do this? We see what's going on at CBS, which nobody could have predicted even a couple of years ago.
Right.
And what's happening is people can go see podcasts. There's more information out there and more access at your fingertips to information than there's ever been before.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. And so it wasn't always that way. We go back to the breakfast. You would probably remember when I came in that one day and I was furious because I'd seen that breakfast that Newt Gingrich was at. I think it was in New England. And he was telling Republicans that we cannot defeat the narrative of climate change, and so we've got to find a way to get on board, but get on board because we can't fight this blue wave of climate change hysteria.
Well, what he's implying was he was implying at the moment that it's trendy to get on board the climate change thing.
Right.
That we can't ignore this trend. Not that it was real.
Right.
Just the only reason that we should get on board is because it's the hip thing to do.
And that led to him sitting on that park bench during the Super Bowl ad, saying, call your, congressperson to discuss climate change.
Yeah.
Newt Gingrich.
Right.
And that's why we said, whenever I saw him on Fox, sorry, I don't care. I went, you got no credibility anymore.
Right.
Once he sat there and said, the truth doesn't matter, it's that if the momentum in politics goes one way and you can't fight it, well, you can fight it now. There's too many open areas of people where they can communicate the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone.
Yep.
A Republican can't say that anymore.
Right.
Well, we can't stop this because, it's the trend. Well, the trend can change on social media like that.
Yep.
And with Bill Gates coming out and saying that, it's like, whoa. CNN yesterday talking about that it's, the top issue in the U.S. And Harry Enton was saying, we had to go down so far to find where climate change is in 15, 20, 25 issues down in these polls, 2% of people.
Yeah.
It's the top issue.
Right.
And now with him coming out and saying this, as Gates did, the war begins on the left, like the war going on right now with Mamdani.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good for the conservative movement.
Right.
And it's good for the Republican Party.
Yep.
I'm still going to have disagreements with Democrats and Republicans all the time if they're not conservative/libertarian. You and I will always have those arguments.
Look, if you're serving in office, then you're going to be held accountable. It's
right.
that simple.
But the difference is now it's harder to continue a lie than it's ever been before.
Yep.
An obvious lie, a self-evident lie.
Yeah. Right.
And that's why the Democrats are in the position that they're in right now. That's why their numbers are the lowest in modern history, probably.
Right.
Because
and that's not going to change. In today's society, you're just not going to get away with those lies.
No, you can't. There's too many other open arenas where people can go and easily find the truth.
Yep.
And they may have to go to 5 different sources, but you can decide to do it, and you can do it in 30 seconds.
Yep. The will to do it is what's changing.
Yeah. What does this
the
guy have to say?
ability is one thing. It may have the ability's been there for a while, but the will to change it or the will to find it is now what has changed.
866-90 Red Eye.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I saw Whoopi on The View got upset. Leave Biden alone, the auto pen and everything else. We need to move on from those 4 years. Move on, move on, move on.
Yeah.
And then I see the story also. You saw Ian Sams, who was also a spokesperson. You saw that, and remember, he was out there, what was it, a couple days after the debate. That's the President Biden that so many of us experience every single day, who is asking the tough questions so that we as a staff can be sharp to do our job for the American people. He said that a couple of days after the horrendous debate.
Right.
actually saw Biden twice in 2 years, once a year.
Yeah.
Wasn't experienced Biden at all.
Right.
Complete and total lie.
Right. Well, it's just like the Morning Joe thing, you know. He made it sound like he was hanging out with Biden all day, every day. F you if you can't handle the truth. Wow. Man. Mika, you need to write better things for Joe to say, honestly.
I think about the one thing, though, is people on the left can say things that if we said them on the right, the comparable thing.
Oh, we get hammered by our own audience.
We couldn't last.
No, it would never work.
You would never survive it.
Nope.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.